Are you a former classroom teacher who has made the switch into the STEM space? Or maybe you are thinking about switching into STEM, but you are unsure that you are qualified for this position. I get it. Making a change in the teaching world can be scary, especially in a topic like STEM that has an abundance of resources, but really limited support for teachers. In today's episode, I will be sharing with you why classroom teachers make great STEM teachers and how your past experiences are actually an asset in the STEM space. Like many of you, I am also a former classroom teacher turned current K through 5 STEM teacher. I taught in the general education classroom for 6 years. My first 2 years were in second grade, and then my next four were in third grade. I loved the classroom setting, and I had the opportunity of attending lots of different conferences in my area, including ISTE when they came to Denver, and also InnEdCO. With these experiences and other online trainings that I took, I really found a spark and passion for technology, STEM, and hands on learning. I also loved the school that I was teaching at when I was teaching third grade. It was an amazing school, but sadly, my district didn't pay very well, and I knew if I went to a neighboring district I could teach third grade again but make significantly more. However, I was even more interested in having a STEM position and further my teaching career in a different way. Luckily for me, there was a position for K through 5 STEM. And if you go back to episode 1, I even talk about in the beginning of that episode my experience of me and my interview and how I thought I didn't even get the job and how I was very sad about that. Well, here I am. I am a K through 5 STEM teacher, and when I got that job, I got a brand new remodeled classroom, brand new to me school, brand new to me district, and zero curriculum. I know how it can be very overwhelming to have this brand new experience and really being scared and feeling like an imposter, really, not thinking that you're qualified for this position. I am here to tell you today why your experience in the classroom is actually an asset in the STEM space. I am so grateful for my 6 years in the classroom prior to this STEM position because there are a lot of skills I don't think I would have gained without that prior experience. Now, if you aren't a former classroom teacher and you're listening to this and you're sad that you don't have those prior skills, don't worry, it is okay. I will say that a lot of teachers that I have talked to by way of email, my online courses, and social media, that a lot of them have been in the classroom before and then they are thrown into this role of STEM, much like how I was. I'm here to tell you that that experience is super valuable, and here are three major reasons why you being in the classroom is going to help you when you attack that STEM role. When teaching in the general classroom before your STEM role, you have the power of your classroom management skills. This is an extreme asset that you are going to be so lucky that you have when you are teaching multiple classes a day. With your teaching background, you understand that having structure, systems, and routines is so important in your classroom setting. The same is true in the STEM special space. Even though it is a fun and amazing creative class, having those rules and routines are going to greatly improve the success of your classroom. In my STEM Teacher 101 course, I even share with you a whole checklist of ideas of things to go over with your K through 5 STEM classes that I think that you'll really enjoy for your new position. Also, with your classroom management strategies, you understand that behavior management is also extremely important. Again, with your experience teaching in the general education classroom, you understand that building relationship with students are key, parent communication, and the communication with the classroom teachers, which we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Back in episode 8, we talk about all the behavior management strategies. So go back and take a listen. And with your experience, you're really going to understand where I'm coming from. Along with your prior experience, you know how to be flexible and adapt. We know in teaching that it can get crazy, and Even if you have a plan, it won't always go to plan, and you have to be creative on your toes. Whether this comes to the lesson that you're teaching, there is a fire drill that is happening, you might have to write sub plans last minute. You have that experience that's going to be extremely helpful in your STEM space, and you're going to be so grateful for all those tips and tricks that you learned along the way that you can be successful in this new classroom setting. Another great benefit of being a classroom teacher before becoming a STEM teacher is you know how to lesson plan. I didn't realize how big of an asset this was until, again, I was given a classroom with a handful of tools and zero curriculum. Having a well thought out lesson plan that is aligned to standards is still important in the STEM space, and you already know how to do it. You're going to be so grateful for all the different types of lesson templates and ideas that you have come up with over the years. And you can definitely pull from that experience to help you plan for your STEM lessons. Now, you might not have had the same amazing tools as before. Maybe you have, but you have those skills with lesson planning that are going to make a great and important impact on your students. You also understand what the flow of a lesson should be like. So instead of having kids run into your classroom and getting started right away, you know the importance of having a short mini lesson to teach the skills that students are going to be attacking in their lesson and giving students that independent work time with conferencing along the way. We will do future episodes about specific lesson planning, but you are way more prepared than you think you are. So really trust your instincts and your teaching skills. You are in this position for a reason, and you have those skills of what it takes to be a STEM teacher. Along with that, you also know how to research ideas and collaborate with other teachers. I highly recommend, if there is this opportunity, to reach out to other STEM teachers in your district or even neighboring districts, and maybe you can meet collaboratively to gather ideas and bounce things off one another. It can get a little bit lonely in the STEM space if you are the only STEM teacher in your building. I am the only STEM teacher in my building, and I have an amazing team of other specials teachers, but we do teach different subjects. So we're able to help each other a little bit, but what we're doing is completely different. And so it is hard thinking about what lessons we need to teach. So it is a little tricky when it comes to wanting to bounce ideas off of each other. They're not always the go-to people for those specific lessons. So if you can, reach out to other teachers in your district. I also recommend joining my free Facebook group, the Elementary STEM Coach Group, and I'll link that in the show notes, where you can chat with other teachers from all over the world, bounce off those ideas in there. Also in the STEM Teacher 101 course, there's even a more private course, so you guys can talk about the things that you're learning together and really dive in deeper there. The third way that classroom teachers make excellent STEM teachers is you understand a classroom teacher's viewpoint. Well, because you were one. I was actually very surprised how fast the time went coming into the STEM space, and I actually grew more of an appreciation for the specials teachers. You know that the time the kids are away in specials, or whatever you call them, we call them specials in my school, but you know that time away is so sacred to you as a classroom teacher. And so you on the other side, you really understand where classroom teachers are coming from and how you can really protect their time, engage your students, and really provide them the best experience, even though that time is super limited. You also understand how to talk to classroom teachers when it comes to specific academic or behavior needs. You know that time is really quick. You've been that classroom teacher dropping off your students. So you are on the other side now. And so you know what you should talk to them right away or something that you can meet with them later. So it's really having that partnership with the classroom teachers instead of being this isolated part of the day. You really have a full perspective of what the whole day as a teacher looks like since you've been a classroom teacher. Now you know what's happening in specials. I feel like the conversations that I have with specials teachers who were classroom teachers and those who have only been specials teachers are completely different. And it even impacts the way that we think about the schedules in the buildings, the different type of duties that we have outside of the classroom. It really shifts your perspective, and it really is a huge difference. So Don't worry, you being in the classroom is definitely a good thing. Today was a quick episode, but definitely to help you stay encouraged and know that you are in the right place. You have that spark in you, and you know that STEM is the next path of your education journey. So don't get discouraged. You definitely have the skills to do it, especially if you already got hired. You have something in you that your hiring committee sees in you, and you are definitely going in the right direction. So, those three major things that we talked about today were being a classroom teacher, you have your prior experience of having classroom management skills. You already know how to lesson plan, and you understand a classroom teacher's viewpoint. I am so grateful that I get to help support you with my podcast and all the different types of resources for you. This is the whole reason why I am on a mission to really help change STEM education. And I would love to help you even further with my self paced course, STEM Teacher 101. Within this course, you will get that private community where you can chat with other STEM teachers who are also in the same position as you, where you can dive deeper on certain topics. And also, you have the materials to help build a strong foundation through your systems and routines in the STEM space and learn integrated planning models that can really change the way that you're teaching STEM and bring higher level thinking in your classroom. This will be all linked in the show notes for you so you can check it out and get started and join us today.